Route 77, Not Easy Ride. Episode 3, Rain Delay. Thursday afternoon in Kingston. The sun is hot. The pavement is shimmering. And the sky over Halfway Tree is blue enough to convince everybody that carrying an umbrella would be a waste of time. Everybody except Miss Iris. Route 77 swings around the corner, with its yellow and green body shining beneath the afternoon sun. The bass from the speakers reaches the bus stop first. Boom, 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 boom. Then comes Skelly, hanging through the open side door. Skelly. Crossroad. Halfway Tree. Pepine. Come. One more. Plenty space. A woman at the bus stop looks inside. Every seat is occupied. 2 schoolboys are sharing one seat. Rambo has a toolbox between his feet. Professor Pete is holding a folded newspaper against his chest. Miss Iris is seated near the front with a large umbrella resting across her lap. The woman looks at Skelly. Woman, where's the plenty space? Skelly points toward a narrow opening beside Rambo's toolbox. Skelly. Right there. Rambo looks down. Rambo. That is where me foot supposed to go. Skelly smiles. Today your foot traveling separately. The passengers burst into laughter. Captain Brown taps the steering wheel in time with the dance hall rhythm. Captain Brown. Skelly, close the door. We moving. Skelly takes one last look at the bus stop. Last call. One more. A low rumble rolls across the sky. Professor Pete looks through the window. Professor Pete. That appears to be an approaching cumulonimbus formation. Rambo turns toward him. A what? A dense vertical cloud associated with heavy precipitation. Miss Iris looks out the window. Him saying rain coming. Rambo nods. Then why him never just say that? Professor Pete adjusts his glasses. Because accuracy matters. A single drop lands on the windshield. Then another. Captain Brown turns on the wipers. Skelly looks up at the sky. Little sprinkle. Nothing serious. Miss Iris grips her umbrella. Whenever a Jamaican man look at dark cloud and say nothing serious, prepare yourself. Another rumble shakes the windows. Professor Pete checks his watch. Based on wind direction and atmospheric pressure, the shower should last approximately 11 minutes. Miss Iris turns around. Rain, don't read your watch, Professor. The sky opens. Captain Brown pulls away from the stop. They make it less than half a block. The afternoon disappears behind a wall of rain. Water rushes along the gutter. Pedestrians scream and run beneath shop awnings. Vendors throw plastic sheets over fruit stalls. A man uses a newspaper to cover his head, but the newspaper dissolves before he reaches shelter. Skelly's eyes light up. Skelly. Captain. Business opportunity. Captain looks in the mirror. Don't start. Skelly leans through the door. Rain shelter. Crossroad. Halfway Tree. Dry seat. Come quick. Miss Iris looks around the damp interior. Dry seat. A cold drop lands on Professor Pete's forehead. He looks up. Another drop lands on the same spot. Miss Iris smiles. Professor have the only seat with indoor weather. Captain stops beside a crowd trapped beneath a small pharmacy awning. The door opens. 8 people rush toward the minibus. Skelly. Easy. Easy. Everybody can fit. Passengers inside begin protesting. Passenger. No, we cannot. Another passenger. Door barely closing now. Skelly. Negative thinking taking up unnecessary space. A young office worker climbs aboard with a dripping handbag. A schoolboy squeezes in behind her. A market vendor arrives with 2 shopping bags and a wet umbrella. Then comes Mr. Wellington. He is tall, serious, and dressed in an immaculate white shirt with pale cream trousers. He stands at the entrance, staring into the packed bus. Mr. Wellington. I am not sitting anywhere wet. Skelly points toward a narrow perch above the rear wheel. Executive seat. Mr. Wellington looks at it. That is not a seat. Executive stool. There is no cushion. Better posture. Another burst of rain splashes across Mr. Wellington's back. He climbs aboard immediately. Skelly slams the door. Or tries to. The door stops halfway. A market bag is blocking it. Skelly. Whose bag? Miss Bev. Mine. Move it. There is nowhere to move it. Skelly takes the bag and lifts it over his head. A green plantain falls out. Rambo catches it. A second plantain falls. Professor Pete catches that one. A third rolls beneath Mr. Wellington's cream trouser leg. Mr. Wellington freezes. Miss Bev peers toward him. Sir, ya sitting on me plantain? Mr. Wellington slowly stands. The plantain is flattened against the wheel arch. The bus erupts with laughter. The new passengers settle as best they can. Wet umbrellas drip onto the floor. Skelly looks down at the growing puddle. Everybody close umbrella and hold it upright. A woman near the back tries to close hers. It springs open inside the bus. The umbrella traps Professor Pete against the window. Professor Pete. Madam, this is physically unsuitable for an enclosed space. Me trying to close it. Rambo reaches over. The umbrella twists. One metal spoke hooks into Professor Pete's newspaper. Another catches Skelly's shoulder bag. Skelly spins. The woman spins. Professor Pete's newspaper tears down the middle. Miss Iris watches calmly. Professor, your weather report fighting back. Rambo finally closes the umbrella. Professor Pete examines what remains of his newspaper. The structural integrity has been compromised. Rambo holds up the broken sports section. Jamaica still win? Professor Pete checks it. Yes. Then paper good. Skelly finds an empty plastic bucket beneath the seat. He places it beside the door. All wet umbrellas in the bucket. The passengers begin dropping their umbrellas inside. Skelly holds out his hand. $50 umbrella parking fee. The bus goes silent. Miss Iris turns slowly. Skelly. Yes, Miss Iris? Put down your hand. It is a premium storage service. It is an old paint bucket. Recycled premium storage. Miss Iris raises one eyebrow. Skelly lowers his hand. Complimentary today. Captain Brown laughs so hard he nearly misses the light. A young woman named Keisha is seated in the middle of the bus. She is holding a large white cake box carefully on her lap. The lid is tied with a bright gold ribbon. She wipes rainwater from the top. Please, everybody be careful. This is my mother's 70th birthday cake. Every passenger looks at the box. Skelly leans closer. What flavor? Keisha pulls it away. Flavor is don't touch. Rambo nods approvingly. Strong flavor. Keisha looks toward Captain. Driver, I need to reach Constant Spring before 4:30. Captain checks the clock. We will get you there. Professor Pete looks through the rain-covered window. Given current traffic density, reduced visibility, and probable surface flooding, that estimate may be optimistic. Keisha looks worried. Miss Iris turns around. Don't listen to him. Professor can predict everything except what actually going happen. Professor Pete sits back. That is an unfair characterization. A drop from the roof lands directly on his glasses. Miss Iris points. Predict that. The rain pounds harder against the roof. A thin stream begins dripping from a seam above Professor Pete. He moves one seat to the left. The minibus turns a corner. The stream shifts and follows him. Professor Pete moves again. The bus leans. The water follows. Rambo watches with fascination. Professor, rain choose you. Professor Pete wipes his forehead. It is merely the effect of gravity and vehicle movement. Miss Iris smiles. Gravity know where you sit? Captain calls from the front. The bus is not leaking. Professor Pete looks toward him. Water is entering through the roof. Captain nods. Panoramic waterfall feature. Skelly points toward Professor Pete's seat. Executive rain package. Mr. Wellington looks at the wheel arch beneath him. Do not call anything in this vehicle executive again. The bass-heavy dancehall instrumental continues playing through the speakers. The deep low end makes the windows vibrate. The drops on the ceiling begin bouncing in time with the bass. Captain. Yes, Miss Iris? The music making the rain dance inside. Skelly grins. Is full entertainment package. Miss Iris turns toward him. Lower it before the cakes start dancing too. Captain reduces the volume. Keisha looks relieved. The windshield wipers continue squeaking. Left. Right. Left. Right. Then one stops in the middle of the windshield. The second wiper strikes it. Both wipers stop. Captain Brown leans forward. The windshield becomes a sheet of water. He slows immediately and pulls safely beneath a petrol station awning. Nobody panic. Skelly looks through the glass. I cannot see anything. That is why we stop. Professor Pete adjusts his wet glasses. The linkage mechanism may have become detached. Rambo lifts his toolbox. Me can fix it. Captain looks in the mirror. Last time you say that, my horns start whenever me press the brake. Rambo shrugs. At least people knew stopping. Another crack of thunder shakes the bus. Keisha checks the time. Captain, my mother's party starts in 40 minutes. Captain sighs. Rambo, look at the wiper. Rambo opens the door. Rain blows inside immediately. Every passenger screams. Close it. My bag. The cake. My trousers. Rambo steps outside holding a tiny umbrella. The wind flips it inside out. Rambo stares at the ruined umbrella. Miss Iris calls through the doorway. Your umbrella surrender. Rambo throws it into the bucket and pulls a black plastic bag over his head. Professor Pete points. That creates a suffocation hazard. Rambo tears a large opening for his face. Safety first. He steps into the rain. Inside the minibus, everybody watches Rambo through the windshield. He lifts the wiper arm. He tightens something. He opens his toolbox. Water pours into it. He removes a cable tie. Then another. Mr. Wellington looks concerned. He is repairing public transportation with plastic strips? Captain rests one hand on the steering wheel. Those plastic strips stronger than some relationships. Skelly nods. Especially Friday night relationship. Miss Iris looks at him. What do you know about relationships? Skelly suddenly becomes interested in the umbrella bucket. Rambo secures the linkage and taps the windshield. Captain tests the switch. The passengers cheer. Rambo raises both arms in victory. A passing car drives through a puddle. A wave of muddy water covers him from head to toe. The cheering stops. Rambo stands frozen beneath the awning. Skelly leans through the door. You finish. Rambo wipes mud from his face. No, me taking spa treatment. The bus erupts with laughter. Rambo climbs back inside and sits beside Mr. Wellington. Mr. Wellington looks at Rambo's muddy clothes. Then at his own cream trousers. No. Rambo squeezes beside him. Executive seat sharing. Route 77 pulls back into traffic. The wipers work beautifully. The rain does not ease. At the next intersection, traffic stops. Water has spread across the entire road. A small car attempts to cross. Its wheels disappear beneath the brown water. The engine coughs and stalls. Captain Brown studies the road. Captain Brown. We're not crossing that. A passenger near the back checks his watch. Driver, other buses going through. Captain points through the windshield. And one of them might become boat. This bus staying bus. The passenger sighs. We going late. Miss Iris turns around. Better late than floating. Professor Pete examines the curb. I estimate the water depth at approximately 18 centimeters. Rambo looks at him. You measure it from inside? I compared the waterline with the visible curb height. Skelly finds an old broom handle beneath the seat. He opens the door slightly and lowers it into the floodwater. The broom handle sinks farther than expected. Skelly pulls it back quickly. Professor. Yes! Your 18-centimeter grow up. Captain nods. Detour. Captain turns onto a side road. Every driver in Kingston appears to have chosen the same detour. Cars block the intersection from all four directions. Horns erupt. Nobody moves. A delivery truck blocks one lane. A taxi attempts to reverse. A motorbike squeezes between two cars. Skelly looks through the door. This traffic only need leadership. Captain turns toward him. Stay inside. Skelly reaches beneath his seat and pulls out an orange reflective vest. Miss Iris stares at it. Why you have traffic vest? Skelly puts it on. Always prepared. Professor Pete shakes his head. For what? Leadership. Before Captain can stop him, Skelly jumps out. He stands in the middle of the intersection, waving both arms. Blue car, come. The blue car moves. White taxi, wait. The white taxi moves too. No. Me say wait. A truck horn blasts. Skelly jumps backward. He points left. 3 cars turn right. He points right. Nobody moves. Rambo watches through the window. Skelly directing traffic like him mixing soup. Captain leans on the horn. Skelly, come out of the road. Skelly waves at him. Almost clear. The intersection becomes completely locked. A police whistle cuts through the horns. Officer Grant appears beneath a large black raincoat. He looks at the intersection. Then at Skelly. Then at Route 77. His face falls. Every time I see this bus, common sense take holiday. Skelly points toward the traffic. Officer, me assisting. You are causing. I nearly clear it. Officer Grant looks at the 4-direction gridlock. Clear what? Skelly studies the traffic. Opportunity for improvement. Officer Grant points toward Route 77. Back inside. Skelly removes the vest. You want borrow this? Back. Inside. Skelly climbs aboard. Officer Grant begins directing traffic properly. Within 2 minutes, the intersection starts moving. Professor Pete looks toward Skelly. That is what an actual system looks like. Skelly sits down. Professor, nobody asked you. Miss Iris pats Skelly's arm. At least your vest bright. As Route 77 inches forward, they pass an elderly woman and a little girl standing beneath a broken umbrella. Water is streaming from their clothes. The little girl is hugging a school bag to her chest. The bus is already full. Skelly looks at them. For once, he does not shout about space. He tells Captain to stop. The door opens. Come, miss, bring the little girl. The elderly woman looks inside. But the bus full. Skelly glances at the passengers. Everybody move a little. Nobody complains. Rambo lifts his wet toolbox onto his lap. Professor Pete folds what remains of his newspaper. Mr. Wellington shifts off the wheel arch. Miss Bev raises her market bags. Miss Iris takes the little girl beside her. The elderly woman climbs aboard. She reaches into her purse. Skelly gently stops her. No fare. She looks surprised. Why? Skelly shrugs. Rainy day promotion. Miss Iris watches him with a knowing smile. Skelly sees her looking. What? Nothing. Miss Iris, don't start. I never say a word. Your face talking. Miss Iris smiles wider. The little girl looks at Keisha's cake box. Is that birthday cake? Keisha nods. My mother is 70 today. The child smiles. My granny is 71. The elderly woman corrects her. 72. The child thinks. You sure? The bus erupts with laughter. The grandmother shakes her head. This child trying to subtract my age. Miss Iris pats her hand. Let her continue. Traffic begins moving faster. Captain carefully navigates the side road. A taxi suddenly pulls out in front of Route 77. Captain brakes. Everybody leans forward. Keisha's cake box slides from her lap. She screams. Rambo reaches across. Mr. Wellington grabs one side. Professor Pete catches the ribbon. Together, they stop the box inches above the wet floor. The bus goes silent. Keisha stares at the cake. Rambo slowly lifts it back onto her lap. Saved. Everybody cheers. Mr. Wellington checks his white sleeve. A streak of yellow icing is smeared across the cuff. His face tightens. Keisha gasps. I am so sorry. Mr. Wellington looks at the icing. He touches it with one finger, then tastes it. The bus watches. He pauses. Vanilla? Keisha nods. With pineapple filling. Mr. Wellington tastes the icing again. Acceptable. Rambo laughs. Executive icing. Even Mr. Wellington smiles. Route 77 finally reaches Keisha's stop. The rain is still falling. Her mother's birthday party is inside a community center across the road. Keisha looks at the distance, then at the cake. I cannot carry this through the rain. Captain studies the entrance. We will get it there. Miss Iris lifts her umbrella. Everybody with umbrella come. Skelly opens the door. Passengers begin stepping out one at a time. They line up from the bus to the community center entrance. Umbrellas overlap above their heads, creating a colorful tunnel through the rain. Red umbrella. Blue umbrella. Striped umbrella. One umbrella with a broken side. Rambo holds the inside-out umbrella over the final gap. Professor Pete adjusts the spacing. Move approximately 15 centimeters to the left. Rambo looks at him. Professor, rain coming straight down. The wind is angled. Rain no geometry now? Miss Iris calls from the front. Both of you hold the umbrella. Keisha steps from Route 77 carrying the cake. Skelly walks beside her. Captain watches through the windshield. The passengers shield the cake as Keisha moves through the umbrella tunnel. Not one drop touches the box. When she reaches the community center, the doors open. Family members cheer. Keisha turns toward the passengers. You saved my mother's cake. Rambo raises one muddy hand. Tell her Route 77 deliver. Skelly calls across the road. Next time order 2. Keisha laughs and waves. A woman from inside runs out with a small box of cupcakes. She hands it to Skelly. For everybody on the bus. Skelly looks inside. 12 cupcakes. He counts the passengers. Then counts again. Miss Iris watches him closely. Skelly removes one cupcake. He looks at it. Then puts it back. We share them. Miss Iris nods. Your face improving. The passengers return to the minibus. The umbrella bucket is overflowing. The floor is wet. Professor Pete's newspaper is ruined. Rambo is covered in mud. Mr. Wellington has icing on his white sleeve. But the cake arrives safely. The elderly woman and the little girl are warm, and everybody receives half a cupcake. Route 77 pulls away. The rain suddenly begins to weaken. Within 2 minutes, it stops completely. Sunlight breaks through the clouds. Steam rises from the road. Captain turns the dance hall instrumental back up. Boom, 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 boom. Skelly leans through the open door. Crossroad. Halfway tree. Come. One more. Miss Iris looks around the packed bus. After everything today, you still calling one more? Skelly grins. Rain stop. Space dry out. Professor Pete checks his watch. The rain lasted 1 hour and 43 minutes. Miss Iris turns toward him. What happened to 11 minutes? Professor Pete folds his ruined newspaper. The atmospheric variables changed. Rambo bites his cupcake. Professor wrong. I was not wrong. The conditions evolved. Professor wrong with explanation. The bus erupts with laughter. Skelly lifts the overflowing bucket of wet umbrellas. I am going to empty this. Captain looks in the mirror. Wait until we stop. Skelly leans through the open door with the bucket. At that exact moment, Route 77 passes beneath a low tree branch. The branch brushes the roof. All the rainwater collected on top of the minibus rushes toward the open side door. S-Fex, sudden sheet of water pouring down. The water lands directly on Skelly. He stands frozen, soaked from head to toe. The bucket remains completely dry in his hands. The passengers stare at him. Then Miss Iris speaks. Rain stop outside. She smiles. Inside Route 77, still offering one more shower. The entire bus explodes with laughter. Skelly wipes water from his face. He slowly leans out the door again. Skelly. Crossroad. Halfway tree. He points toward a group waiting beneath an awning. Come, come, one more. The people look at the soaking wet conductor. One man calls back. Bus leaking. Skelly shakes his head. Premium waterfall feature. Captain Brown laughs as Route 77 rolls into the bright Kingston afternoon. And somewhere in Kingston, another passenger is waving down Route 77. Because sunshine or rain, traffic or flood, every journey aboard this little minibus becomes a story. One more. Plenty space. S-Fex. Passengers laughing as the bass-heavy dancehall theme rises. End of episode 3. Rain delay.